welcome to my show, Searching for Integrity. My name really is John Smith, and I'm searching for people with integrity. Why? Because our country suffers from IDD, Integrity Deficit Disorder. Today, we have a special guest. A welcome to Tressa Mitchener.
Thank you so much.
That's fine. I got here. I'm going to ask you some things about that. What have you done in the last 5 months? Would be a good start.
Man. Okay. Well, John, I've been speaking on many different platforms, trying to encourage women, trying to help them with their changes in their life, trying to motivate them. We've also started a podcast as well, trying to motivate people about a podcast as well. Same thing that you're doing is trying to help the world with integrity, morals, and let everybody understand that, with faith, we can overcome a lot of things that we didn't think we could.
Well, that sometimes surprises everybody, or some people.
Yeah.
I want to read what I didn't read before about the author. You're the author.
Yeah.
It says Tressa Mitchener is a well-respected psychological and Christian counselor, certified life coach, best-selling author, and transformational speaker. Rising from the ashes, this phoenix has an incredible story of life-changing hope and offers a unique perspective on life's possibilities and renewed expectations. I'm sorry I read that the first time. It reads pretty good.
Yeah.
You know that person?
Absolutely, John. I'm working on her every day.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at certain things, and I always like the table of contents.
Yep.
Kind of did I do that before?
Yes, we did the table of contents before. Yeah, but we can go through it. It's always something different that someone can get.
Well, listen, you take it.
Okay. Wait, you want to go through the table of contents, or you want
I'll just pick one.
Okay.
Getting answers brings peace within.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
10 pages.
Yep. So basically, John, I was basically talking about prayer and having that prayer life, just trying to bring about purpose and fulfillment in a person's life, showing them the different areas when you pray. And sometimes you may not get the answer that you expect, but when you do get the answer, it's like a fulfillment. It's like a peace and a joy because that answer did come to you. And it may not come in the way that you're looking for it to come, but the answers do come in our life. So we just sometimes have to have a little bit of patience. And at the same time, be at peace while we're waiting on our answers.
That's good. That's good. And it's good that it's followed up with transformation.
Yes.
I don't know the way you dealt that on that one. Transformation.
Yeah, well, I can definitely tell you a lot about my transformation because I can say that I felt like from a child, my early childhood, growing up, it was just walking in like a total darkness, like just a dark area, and I couldn't figure out, why me or what's wrong with me, in other words. But when I started walking into the light and just started to make that change, or I call it like when I decided to change my course. Well, I think about it as an obstacle course because you can go through many obstacle courses, but when you get on that right course, it begins to change and transform you from the inside out. So it takes that inner change so that you can see that fulfillment that you've been looking for, and you won't continuously wonder what's wrong with me. You'll start understanding there's nothing wrong with you. You're just different. Everybody is totally different, and everybody has a purpose and a plan to fulfill.
What kind of reaction do you get from an audience when, let's say, you do talking on transformation? How do they respond?
Well, John, I'm, not being arrogant at all, but I'm just honored and blessed that every time I speak on a stage, I always get a standing ovation, and I have people waiting for me in line asking me, can they take a course with me, or do I have anything else, any coaching programs or any type thing where they can continue to journey with me, because people are wanting change. They're wanting to see the change in their own lives as well. People want to do better today than they did yesterday. So I'm just grateful that, I went through a storm in my life, but I'm grateful for the storm because now I can help other people transcend their own lives.
Well, I know how that storm works.
Yeah.
And you take that storm and you come out a better person.
100% better of a person. That's why I say sometimes you pray for things, but you don't understand how the answer is going to come. But when you look back, that answer will give you peace and it will help you further along. My answer actually gave me purpose, because I remember when I was in darkness crying out to God, just asking him for help. I basically was saying, if it's a God, help me, because I'm tired. And when I look back on the answer that he gave, it was nothing that I was expecting. But the results that I live now, it's totally amazing.
Is that partial, the inevitable consequence? That's chapter 5.
Well, the inevitable consequence, yeah, that was when I was indicted by the federal government. The most, I would say, probably one of the most scariest feelings that I can remember.
Right.
Just couldn't understand where I was going to go from here, because we all know when you talk about the federal government, first thing you say, who can beat them? Who can win this? But I had to win the journey on the inside, and that's what I did.
That's good. What people don't know is that there is light
Yeah.
inside you, and it's around you. But oftentimes I think to myself, why don't people give the light more opportunity?
John, I think that I can kind of answer that question just because of my own darkness and dark situation. I think sometimes when, and I would just say in a church format, or, not talking about pastors or anything, because I love different pastors and preachers. I love the people that spread the gospel, but it's just sometimes it's so much judgmental, a judgment that goes on in those walls or outside of those walls. And these are people we're supposed to look up to, but they're judging so much the people that it pushes them away sometimes, when what we need to do is extend that extra love or extend that extra hand, because we didn't arrive in one day. So I think sometimes it pushes people back just because of how they feel that they're going to get judged or criticized when they walk in, or if they, or just say you're going to church for a year or so and you still fumbling or you still having issues, rather than them keep trying to help them, sometimes they feel that they're being talked about, and it kind of pushes them back to where they started.
As you speak at various places, and afterwards you're beginning to think about it, maybe run it this way or run it that way, I know that the heart part is there, and that's going to speak the same always. What I'm curious about is, can you give people the opportunity that they can take to find that light?
Absolutely.
That needs to be done, I would think, in a lot of things, a lot of places.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Most of the time when I'm speaking, or I speak to individuals or groups or whoever I'm speaking to, I actually try to prepare them with steps they can take to get into that light. It takes them wanting to change and them having to do the work. It took me to do the work. It took you to do the work. So I try to get them steps on doing the work. And, I talk to them about salvation. I also talk to them about forgiveness, responsibility. And, because we got to be accountable as well. So I try to let them know about responsibility and accountability as well, because this is a major part of transforming your life when you start taking responsibility and stop playing your own victim. Don't be your own victim. So understand that you got to take charge of your life, and you can't be your victim when you're trying to take charge. You have to understand that you have to forgive yourself, love yourself, and own your mistakes.
Forgiveness is powerful.
Yeah.
one Sunday was looking at the magazines. This was 5 years ago. And as I looked at the magazine, it was a page of different kind of t-shirts. And as I was going through the t-shirts, there was one of them that it struck me, and I ordered it. And I got to find it now that we've moved again.
Yeah.
And what it is, it's a t-shirt that's on the front, got great big letters, forgive.
Yep.
And when I'm out walking on the sidewalks, I get people, everybody wants to wave.
Yeah. Yeah.
They kind of think to themselves, I think I'll get some of him, how he
Yeah.
does it. And of course,
Yeah.
that's the thing that you offer. That's a challenge the way you people there.
That's right. That's
If
right.
they don't do it, you're the one that make it happen.
That's right. That's right. And
So that was,
forgiveness is,
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was just saying that forgiveness is a very integral role to transformation or changing. It doesn't matter who you are, forgiveness plays a tremendous part of your walk.
It is. It is. And that's one item I think that they could take and should take, and that would change their life or help
That's
to
right.
change their life.
That's
It's
right.
kind of like once I find in the end, I would structure my own speech. I would look at them and say, okay, you've heard of me. What are you going to do with it? Where are you going to take it? Who are you
Right.
going to talk to about it?
Right.
Can't just put it in your pocket along the road.
That's right. That's right.
A new life and a new reality.
So that new life and that new reality, John, is actually, when I was baptized in the Holy Spirit, filled with the Spirit and walking in God's light and just began to see everything just turn around and change in my life. Just like I said in the book, the lieutenant called me and told me I had 30 minutes to get off their compound when I was facing that long sentence. And I had only did 5 years. And that phone call came, and I believe it came is because I had did the work. I had changed my inside and I had created a new environment and a new atmosphere for myself that needed to be expressed. And that was one of my answered prayers. And even today, I still have prayers that I still see being answered that I prayed way back then. So it's like the prayers never went unheard because I'm still seeing the answers to it. I'm still seeing the answers to when I was praying, asking God to help me to help deliver other people, and help to show them the light and show them the way, even with the forgiveness part that we was just talking about, helping people to understand you can forgive and forgive within. I'm not telling you to allow the person or whoever may have treated you wrong or battered you. I'm not telling you to go into that situation again, but just inside your heart, make sure you have forgiven that person, because I don't want people to mistaken forgiveness for going back into a bad situation, because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about if you have to forgive in your heart, but you don't have to go back into a bad situation when you have forgiven. So you just have to understand it too. You have to love and you have to just forgive. But that new light and that new life that I have now, it just it's a life that I never thought would exist. When I was thinking that I was all alone, I was not alone. He was there with me the entire time. And that life that I live now, he continuously shows me that I was there the whole time. This is where I was trying to get you to.
Well, it's a certainty that people want to see more of you, I would think, and
Yes.
tell others what they saw of you. And the light is the part of it. It's just a light there.
Yes. It's just a light.
They want, and it's, ask you, do you know many people that are mediums?
You're talking
Medium?
about when you're saying medium, are you saying like the like some people like that deal with the spiritualist type
That's
stuff?
right. That's right.
I personally don't know them or associate with it, but I've heard of people that have done that before.
Can do that. Yeah.
Yes.
That's sometimes when I'm talking to myself, I realize that I'm talking to my parents, and they're still up there. And I was looking for that, and I wanted to share that with people. If I could just get better at it.
Right. And I understand, there's so many different ways, because we can't box God up. And that's one thing I want people to never do, is box him up, because there's so many different ways that, he can speak to you or come to you, and he can lead you. I've had a friend of mine that's her story is just so amazing. She actually lost her husband, and she was, very upset with God, but he allowed her husband to come back and speak to her. And when I heard her story, I just was so at awe, because I just know he desires to comfort us. And sometimes he just speaks to us in many different ways.
People, when they hear it, they kind of think, well, I don't know. You have to be sold on it. You have to be of it, and then you'll find that once you start doing
it. Yeah. And with her situation, it was just, I just felt like that he allowed this to give her comfort, because she was so not at ease, and losing her. I couldn't even imagine it. But so I can't say what her feelings were, but I just believed that he wanted to comfort her, and that was the way that he could do it for her.
Terrific. God's promises created her purpose. Holds a BA in psychology and Christian counseling. So
God's promises created my purpose. I say that because there's so many promises in the Word of God. And I know that I was standing on his promises for my life. And those promises he fulfilled. He's still fulfilling them. So that's why I always say that, it's so many different things in the Bible that's promised to us, or in scripture that's promised to us. So I try to encourage people to find the promise that you want to believe. Believe it in your heart and confess it with your mouth. And hold on to that promise, and you will see that promise come to pass. And that's typically what I continuously do throughout my life now, is just hold on to his promises. And even when things don't look right, I mean, because just think about it, John, when I was in this federal prison, and I'm looking at the barbed wire fence, and everything looked at odds. It didn't look like what the promise looked like. So I had to hold on to the promise to see beyond that fence and see beyond that gate, to allow God to fulfill the promise and believe it in my heart. So that's why I say God's promises created my purpose, because I think that relates to pretty much a lot of people, because it's when you're holding on to a promise, sometimes what you see don't look like what it looked like. So you have to hold on to something so you can get to the other side.
I agree. Very much. I looked here at the bottom of the page. Filled with faith and persistence, this is an unforgettable journey. From poor choices and spiritual blindness to self-awareness and empowerment. Interesting.
Interesting. So those poor choices, I love to tell people how bad my decision making was and how poor my choices was. It wasn't like I even though my family wasn't like the dynamics that I would prefer, but I still had a loving mom. I had a loving father, and my mom would try to tell me not to make the mistakes, and I still just went the other way. I just was totally rebellious, just making all the bad choices that a person can think about, when she was telling me, don't do this, don't do that. And, I can imagine the struggle that she had trying to raise me as a rebellious teen. And, I just can't imagine the turmoil that I put her through when she was trying to get me on the right track.
Well, I guess about 10 years ago, when I started working on my book, I thought to myself, how did I get here? Where am I going to take it? And at that point, this word awareness came to me. And I I went to GoDaddy, and just as fast as I could, I bought that domain, and I've still
Yeah.
got it.
That's great.
Having
That's-
awareness,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm still going to use that in some respect,
Awesome.
somehow, and I can spread that with people that are listening to me and want to be part of what of good. That's good to help others.
That's right. That's right. And with my own awareness, I think what I realized is a lot of the things that I was seeking for and searching for, they was already there. They was already in me. It was all I had to do was allow it to manifest. So I'm looking for all these things and all these different um just different things, but it already existed. It existed in me. Because I caught myself one day looking in the mirror because I know I had been praying all these prayers, and all of a sudden it was just like it dawned on me, everything that you're praying for, you're the answer to. So it was like I just became aware that I'm the answer to the things I'm praying for, the change that I want to see, the lives that I want to change. I'm the answer. So
Right.
you got to do the work. Get out here and save these lives. Get out here and talk to these people. Do the work. I'm the answer. And so it just, God made me aware of that. It's just like I've been on a nonstop journey because I know that I'm the answer. I'm somebody's answer. You're somebody's answer. We're somebody's
Right.
answer. So when you look in the mirror and you've been praying for these things, but God is probably going to wake you up and say, hey, you the answer. What are you waiting on?
Right. Put the hand on my shoulder and says, "You're the one with the awareness.
Yes.
Take it to everybody."
Yes.
And I think that's doable. Really.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna let you go. Oh, you still have ways of all those places to sell your book.
Absolutely. Yes. We
Looking
still
out from the inside.
Yes. So you can still go to Amazon.com and purchase it. You also can go to my website, which is www.tressamitchener.com. Also, we'll be having courses on the website as well really soon. I will be doing coaching on the website where you can sign up for, and you can you'll be able to start going on the website to see where I'll be speaking at as well as the speaking events come available.
That's great. I'm glad you were able to come back by. And guess I
Me too.
should have had a cup of coffee here ready for
Yes.
Maybe we'll do that again.
I hope so, John. I love to be on the show with you. I hope so.
Well, it's good to have you on the show as well. And
Thank you so
don't remember my audiences, my searching for integrity listeners. They're starting to tune in pretty good. Got the numbers up. Mac's done a good job.
That's
And,
awesome.
and of course, my adios. So long and
Awesome.
happy
See you.
trails to all.
Yes,
Until we see
absolutely.
you until we see each other again.